I just saw a video on YouTube, and before I even start this, let me say that I have respect for cops, respect what they do in law enforcement and everything like that. I don't have anything against cops, but emotions sometimes play into how you may feel at the moment when you see a video of a cop killing somebody, and then you start saying to yourself, did they really had to do that? Couldn't he just did this? Couldn't he just did that? Couldn't the cop do this? Couldn't the cop do that? But what happened was, I saw a video, and this video, the boy's mother calls, I guess 911 or call. Yeah, I think she called 911. The boy is, I guess he's mentally challenged, mentally handicapped. And his mom called for assistance. Now these two cops, they knock on the door. The two cops knock on the door, and she comes out of the residence. It's a private house, so she comes out of the residence, and she's saying, I don't know what's going on. My son, he's not himself today, this, that, whatever. And as she comes out of the house and walk past the two cops, like, they're standing in the doorway, and the boy comes out. He had to be like maybe 19, 20. Not tall, probably like average height, maybe 5'9", if that. Yeah, probably like 5'9". And he was holding the screwdriver. Not wielding the screwdriver, not threatening with the screwdriver, just holding the screwdriver. And as he's coming out the door, the cops are they're yelling, put the screwdriver down, put the screwdriver down. Now, this guy is mentally challenged or whatever. With all the screaming that the cops started doing and flexing once they started to draw their weapons, the guy starts to take off and out of the house and start to run. As he's running, they pull their guns, and this is from their body cams. The body cams picked all of this up. As he starts to run, they unload. Both of them start shooting him. They just shoot him. And when they shot him, he fell against the guy that got shot. He fell against the garage door with his neck bent, he clearly wasn't moving, and they still yelling, drop the screwdriver. Now at this point, he fell on his stomach, and his head hit the garage door, and he's like his head is like his neck is bent up, and his face, he's looking up, facing away from the cops, and they yelling at the guy after they just unloaded bullets into him with blood coming out from underneath the body. Put the screwdriver down. They still yelling this while the guy is motionless on the floor. Blood pouring out of the body as he lay on his stomach. So then the cops, I guess they see that he's no longer a threat. So as they approach the body, and it was pretty close, I don't know, maybe 4 feet. Yeah, they probably had 4 or 5 feet of space between them. So the cops, as they're pointing their guns at a body that's bleeding out, the other cop, he goes to, I guess, look for the screwdriver. He takes the guy's hand, pushes the screwdriver to the side, and the whole time you hear the mother screaming out, oh, they killed my baby, I can't believe they shot my baby, my baby, my baby. And your heart goes out for that mother because she called for help, and the help that came basically didn't help her, but wound up causing her more pain, and they killed her son. I don't know. I felt I wanted to somewhat cry because you see a body on the floor, lifeless, and the cops are shouting at it like it's still a threat. First off, I don't even think it was a threat in the beginning. Just because the guy didn't, again, they got a call of a mentally disturbed person. So do you really think that their mental capacity can process what's going on? You being irrational, well, you're supposed to have all this training, I don't know. But if you're trained in certain situations, I think that if the guy is not running toward you with the screwdriver in a menacing fashion, do you think that maybe you could have stun gun? I don't know. Maybe you didn't have a taser. Let's say you didn't have the taser. If the guy is with a screwdriver in his hand, you don't know if he was fixing something in the house. You don't know what was going on. He was just answering the door with his mom, and y'all shouting at him, put down the screwdriver. Ah! You're doing all of that. He probably thinks, let me get the hell out of here. So as he takes off, not in the cop's direction, mind you, but because he's running with a screwdriver in his hand, not in a menacing way, they felt the need to kill this guy. Multiple shots, both of them. Multiple shots. I was so angry to the point where I was thinking like, yo, I think that if, somebody in the house was armed and saw that, they had a right to blast at them. Self-defense, right? But whatever. So my emotions was really running high. I was so angry watching that video because I just felt that they didn't have, that shouldn't be the only recourse that they needed to take to I guess, I don't know. It really, really hurt my heart. Now, while the mother's crying and, they killed my boy, and you hear in the background and stuff like that or whatever, the guy's bleeding out. And he's actually moaning, so I guess he still had, he's still alive or whatever. It just hurt. So then I saw another video of a cop that, 20-year veteran. He's just basically in his patrol car, and he hears a call go over the radio. Separate incidents. Call go over the radio of a mentally disturbed man. The parent called for assistance to control his son. Now, this guy was big. He had to be like maybe 6'3". Yeah, I wanted to say 6'3", probably like 17, 18 years old. And you can see it on his face that, he's really mentally handicapped and stuff like that. But according to this officer's account, he hears the call go over the radio and figured, let me see if I could be some assistance. Because usually, depending on the call, you get multiple cars coming in to assist and all that. I get that. So this officer decided, let me go and assist. As he's pulling up on the scene, he sees that two officers are struggling with this person to, I guess, take him down, handcuff him, I don't know. But according to the officer, he saw that this situation was going to get worse. Maybe shooting him, choking him to get him to comply, or whatever, right? So, according to him, according to this 20-year veteran officer, he said that he went in to the situation, told the two officers to disengage, to back up, and he basically got on the guy's level, because I guess he was sitting down or whatever after they threw him on the floor or whatever. He got down on the floor at the level of the person and just started talking to him about sports, talking to him about life, to get him to calm down. And the two officers that were struggling with him, one of them took the cell phone out and took a picture of this tender moment that the cop was having with this disturbed person as he calmed them down. And I just felt like if they could take that officer and clone that officer and put him all over the United States and have that type of officer police our communities, we probably wouldn't have a lot of the problems that we have today. Because it made me feel so good that this officer, instead of going in there and then joining in and be the third officer to be ruffling and tussling, rustling with this guy, tussling with him and grabbing him and slapping him up and all that other stuff, he chose not to join in with that and told them to disengage, to back up, disengage, I got this. And just had a conversation with the guy. And then everything worked out just fine. The mother was thankful that they were able to get him to calm down and relax and stuff like that. And he just took a basketball and just started playing hoops. And the cop was standing there and talking to the mother. And everything worked out just fine. It made me feel... It really, really made me feel like, this is great police work, and this is how I would hope that police in our communities would approach situations. Not shoot first, ask questions later. I think they shoot first because, hey, I'm a cop. Another cop isn't gonna, go against me because he's a cop too. Whatever. I don't know the blue wall of silence and all that other stuff that plays into this, and cops looking out for each other. I get all of that, but I thought it was so nice. And there was times when I came in contact with officers, whether it's a traffic stop or just in a 7-Eleven, and a cop offers advice for whatever reason, or a cop pulls me over for an infraction, or pulls me over because he, whatever the case, for whatever reason I get pulled over. I get bad cops and I get good cops. There was this one cop, I didn't even see him behind me. I pulled over, I'm going into the bank. As I park the car and get out, I see this unmarked car with lights blaring, no sound, but just lights blaring, and he rolls his window down. He's like, "You didn't see me behind you?" And I'm saying to myself, honestly, I really didn't. Otherwise, I would have stayed in the car and stuck my hand out the window, all of that. But I really didn't see him. So I go up to him. I was like, "Officer, I really didn't see you." And honestly, I didn't. So as he sat in his car the whole time, didn't get out, wasn't disrespectful or anything like that. He was like, "Yeah, I pulled you over because you had snow on your roof of your car and this, that, and the other." And I just explained to him that, because it's hard right now, and I'm going to the bank to get some money so I could go to the car wash and run it through the car wash and get some of the snow off and all that other stuff. He was like, "All right, just be careful and all that." And he gave me a fist bump. I didn't give him a fist bump because I wouldn't. If I put my fist in his car, he probably think I'm trying to fight him. Bust one in me or, spray me with pepper spray. I don't know. So I'm not putting my hand in his car to give him a fist bump. He was like, all right. He was like, "Yo, just be careful, this, that, and the other, whatever. And he put his fist out for a fist bump. And I thought that was like, I was like, I felt like, wow, that's cool. I was like, all right. And I went into the bank and I did my thing. I thought about it and I was like, wow. And then there was a young cop. I was in 7-Eleven one day and I noticed that a lot of the coffee containers were basically either empty or just about to be empty. And you know, this young cop, again, he was getting coffee too, and he said to me, he said, here's some advice. Put your hand on top of one of the coffee containers, and you'll feel if it's hot, that means that there's coffee up at the top and they just put some in, or you know, it's fresh. And he didn't have to volunteer that information, and I wasn't seeking it, but because he was saying it to me with, like, you know, like he was being real nice about it. He was like, yo, I got some advice, you know, blah blah blah. I was like, yo, that's cool. I was like, you know, that's real nice of you. Alright, cool, thanks. And then he left. She made another fresh pot of coffee, and then I left, and he was in the car with his partner, and you know, he was like, yo, be careful. And he basically, as he sat there in his car and proceeded to drive off, again, he's talking to me just to let me know that, you know, to be alright. And I was like, you know, that is a nice gesture, nice of the cop and all that. And sometimes when you run into cops like that, it makes you feel good that those type of officers are out there, you know, doing stuff like that. And then you get a jerk cop that pulls you over or engages you, and it just goes left, or you have a bad experience and stuff like that. And it's really unfortunate, man. It really is. But it just goes to show that whoever wears that uniform, you're dealing with the personality of that person and not the uniform. The uniform I don't think the uniform will transform somebody and make them an idiot or whatever. But at the same time, if a person is an idiot and they put that uniform on, and it heightens their bad behavior because they feel they have a right and the law is on their side to violate you. And it's my word against yours. And who they're gonna believe, a cop or you? And of course, the cop always gets the benefit of the doubt. Always. If the cop submits a report, in that report, you're basically guilty until proven innocent, because now you have to dispel what that cop put in that report, especially if you didn't slap the cop or you didn't resist arrest and he puts that in that report. How do you prove that without videotape, without a video recording? How do you prove that? You basically can't. And guess what? You get fined, you may spend some jail time, go on your record, and all of that. And that's very, very unfortunate. So the next time you run into a cop, the next time a cop is trying to bait you into whatever, just remember, you may be you may be right, and the things that are going down are unjust. But don't hold court in the streets, because it's not going to work. Without videotape, you're basically guilty.